we might implement component communication in Angular is to use ngOnChanges to intercept property changes, our input property changes. So here in this infographic, say ngOnChanges is a lifecycle hook to intercept. Let me zoom this in. Is a lifecycle hook to intercept and respond to at input property changes in Angular. So we use input decorators. We can declare one or more input decorated properties. And for ngOnChanges hook, we can implement the ngOnChanges method in the component. So we have this simple changes object, which allows us to compare the current value with the previous value across multiple inputs simultaneously. And then we can respond to changes by using the simple changes object. I think I've said that. So we can use this approach, and then it says the simple changes object provides both current and previous property values, allowing us to react as needed. I think I've mentioned that as well. So let's get back to our code. This is from our previous tutorial, so we're going to change that. I'm going to start with the navbar here to implement these ngOnChanges at input property interception approach. So let's start with the navbar here, and let's see how we might implement this. So I'm going to start with the navbar component. So another thing I want to mention is this approach is the heavy duty way to intercept changes. So the setter approach we implemented the other time is for watching a single property. So let's get into it. Navbar. I'm going to just cancel this out. If you want the code for this, I've pushed it into another branch on GitHub. Okay, so we can call you can use that input decorator here, and then let's call this notification count. Notification count, come on. It's a number type, so let's set that to 0, and then like before, let's do is updating, and let's set that to false. Okay, now let's use our ngOnChanges. ngOnChanges. So let's pass changes. It's a simple changes. So let's import that. Okay. All right. Now let's check if the specific property changes, that is the notification count property. We'll see whether we're going to check whether it changes here. So we can do const change equals changes, the simple changes we're expecting here. So let's say subscript operator to get the notification count. So this notification count, if it changes, we're going to undo that here. Okay. Now for the animation, let me just include this. We okay, pause only if it's not the first assignment, that is the initialization. So here we can do if change, if it's not change, dot is first change. So we have this is first change method. So if it's not if it's not the initialization, then we want to undo the animation here. Then we can do this dot trigger pause. We're going to create this function in a minute. Okay. And then let's log some values to the console. We can do console.log. Let's call this previous. Okay, and then no, that's not what I want. We can do change dot previous value. Okay. So this previous value is a property from our what is it called, from our change here. All right, so let's log another one, console.log current, and then here we can do oh sorry, this is wrong. And then here we can do, I'm not going to use plus now, we're going to do change dot current value. Okay, now let's create our trigger pause method. It's going to be a private method, trigger pause. Okay, and then here we can do this dot is updated, set that to true, and set timeout as before. We can do this dot is updating, set it to false, and then our time 150 milliseconds. So this function is going to fire only if our change value is not the first assignment. Okay, so having done that, let's undo this in our template. So in our navbar.html, this is what we had before. Now we're going to handle this. Class.pause is still remaining, is updating. I've not changed that boolean. And this, we don't have display count anymore. We have notification count. So I'm going to change this to notification count. It's greater than 0. Then we want to display notification count here. Notification count. Okay, I think that should do for the navbar. Our pause, let me comment this out for now. Okay, and then we have two more components to work on. Before we go to the parent component, let's undo the counter control component. So as before, this is going to emit some event. I'm going to change this to increment, new event emitter, but this time it's going to be void. I'm going to change this to decrement. This is going to be void as well. and then there's one more output. I'm going to call our reset, and there's going to be new event emitter. This is going to be void as well. And then we need to handle this in our template. Okay, so we need a now ngOnChanges. We said it's a heavy duty way to track input changes, so we can use the ngOnChanges approach to track small changes. Okay, so we're gonna handle this here. We have two buttons here. I'm gonna add another class here. I'm gonna call it btn secondary. Okay, let's call that btn secondary, and I'm gonna call this btn primary. So we're gonna assign properties to this new classes later on. And then for our click event, this is going to be decrement dot emit, and this is going to be increment dot emit increment. Okay, for the reset, should I change this? Okay, I can leave it. And then for the click, we're gonna do reset.emit. So this resets our counter, like so. All right. Now for we have main controls here. Okay, let's see. So in our, what is it, counter controller CSS, okay, so let's add our two classes. We have btn primary, btn primary. Okay, let's do background, 098 4E3. Okay, so that's blue color, and then let's set the color to be white. Okay, and then for btn secondary, we can do background D FE 6E9. Okay, and then let's set the color to 2D 3436, like so. I think this btn reset, do I need to change this? We have a btn active. Okay, let's have, before we had what did we, okay, btn over, so let's do btn active here. Btn active, and then we can do this to transform, translate y 0, like so. So I think that's it for our counter control component. Now let's go to our parent component. For our parent component, I think we should have we have total 0. Okay, let's do update count. Should I change this? I'm going to change this to undo update so that it's consistent with what we have in our counter control. So undo update, this the total. Okay, so that works. Then undo reset, undo reset. So this is going to be this dot total equals to 0. Okay, now let's undo our template. Okay, so this is, I don't know, is this notification count in our navbar component? So it's still notification count. All right, so that works. We're still setting that to total. Okay, and then here our current count, so that's total. Okay, so that still works. And then here we're going to do increment, and then this is going to be undo update. So we can just pass 1 here. And then let's do decrement, and then let's pass undo update. This is going to be -1, and then for the reset, so this is going to be reset now, which is going to be undo reset. The way we configure this has changed in this session. Okay, so that's going to be undo reset. I think that's about what we need here. Okay, so fingers crossed. Let's save all. Let's see whether we get any error. Okay, so this is saying what is saying? The argument of type number is not assignable to parameter or void where counter control.html what is it? What did I do wrong? Okay, in where is it? In our counter control, we're expecting increment. This is void. So I'm not gonna pass. Okay, so just I think this is the issue. Okay, so we're passing it from the parent. Let's see. Okay, so this works. Let's go back to our browser. So it's a current count 0. For increment, get 1, 2, 3. Decrement is working. Okay, let's look at our console. Okay, so it's saying, so you see this is tracking small changes. Previous is 2, we are on current count 3. previous is 2, current is 3. So if I do, so previous is 3, current count is 4. So previous is 4, current count is 3. So this is quite cool. Whereas the animation, so let's go back to our navvalue CSS, and then let's uncomment this animation. Let's pause, and then let's go back here. Pay attention to this. So if I increase, okay, now we get the animation. We get the animation. We get the animation. It has scaled, and then we still able to track our previous and current values in our console. So the simple changes object is allowing us to do this. Like we said before, now this is for heavy duty input changes. Okay, so guys, that's all for this tutorial. I'm going to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.